Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm an artist working in animation. Typically, I'm a visual development artist with a specialty in character design. Today, I'm going to be taking you through one of my speed paintings, though. It's based off a photograph, and I did it in Procreate for the iPad Pro using the Apple Pencil, but it doesn't matter what software you're using. All the tips and tricks are transferable because a lot of what I'm going to teach you is about the actual painting. Okay, let's just jump into the painting right now. So I'm working off of a photo, so there's not a lot of choices I have to make. Everything's kind of in front of me. So I'm just going to loosely draw out the image that I see. I'm using just a basic, I think it's called the 6B pencil in Procreate. Nothing fancy. I just like doodling with it. I'm not too worried. I'm just getting the forms in there. Because I'm doing a speed painting and I'm concentrating this time on the lighting effects, I don't really care what how tight the drawing is. I'm going to paint over it. So I'm going to get the sketch in, and then I will lower the opacity, put it on a new layer, and then work one layer below it. And after that, it's basically that. This layer sits on top until I don't need it anymore, and I only work and paint on one layer. So here I am underneath. I'm trying a few little effects. I'm trying out some new brushes that I haven't used before, so I get confused, end up ditching it for something I know very well. And this brush is called the marker brush. And it's great because you don't have to press very hard to get a very opaque coverage with your paint. But if you press lightly, you can get a little bit of gradient going on, and what that helps you do is select colors. This is what's going to make you very fast. So I like to have color already on the canvas. So I threw down an orange, which will contrast everything else I'm doing. And the reason I do that is so that it's already kind of a mid-tone, so I can go lighter from there and I can go darker. And that helps me keep all my values very, very organized. And so you can see I'm using this brush. It's only one brush, and I don't cover all of the canvas. I let some of it shine through, and sometimes I paint over different colors in order to let those colors kind of be happy accidents and kind of give a little bit of texture to the painting. Flat colors are boring, is what I've learned, unless you're going for that very graphic look. In an actual painting, you want to have a little bit of vibration between two contrasting colors. So letting that orange from the background shine through helps serve that a little bit. Same with, you can see on the side of the house when I'm painting in the white, I painted too dark before that, like a more reddish pinky color, and then I put yellow on top of it, and every time a little bit of pink squeaks through, it kind of makes it a little more visually interesting. And so, like I said, everything is being painted on one layer. The reason this works really well is because I have to be very decisive. I can't go and just like turn off a layer, turn it back on. I'm painting it all on one layer, and so if I paint over one part, I have to go and paint it back. And it's like this back and forth. And what that does is it makes you be very confident that you didn't do something by accident and that you can actually recreate that. So if I needed to change something like move the car, I might have to actually paint out the car a little bit. And then that means I have to go paint back the background. And because of that, I work very quickly, and I never have to go into my layers panel and pick different layers. Now, if I was very unsure about something, say the car that I'm going to have to paint, I could put that on a layer above, but it becomes so much more interesting when you paint it all on one layer and you let those colors kind of bleed together. These things happen in a more organic way when you only work on one layer, and I think that's really important. And I think that's something that digital mediums, whether you're working in Photoshop or Procreate, the ability to have many layers makes people make decisions less definitively. So you might be unsure, oh, what color do I want that bush? Well, when you're painting on one layer, you paint. paint it whatever color you think is correct, and if it's wrong, paint over that. And you start building up a layer, a history of your painting. And I think that's a very important thing. It's something that traditional painting will teach you, that maybe if you didn't start with traditional painting, you might not quite appreciate as much, is those happy accidents you can get. If everything was on its own separate layer, you're almost switching your mindset to be a little more analytical and think, what layer am I on? How many layers do I have? If you want to make an adjustment, you have to dig through the layers, and you slow your creative mind down. So I'm working on only one, and I'm just like believing in my abilities that I can draw what is in front of me. I can paint what's in front of me, and that it will work out. And if it doesn't, I'll keep trying over top, over top, over top. This car was giving me a little bit of grief in the beginning. I didn't think it was drawn very well, so I'm actually adjusting that while I paint. And that helps me learn. It forces me. I have no choice. The painting will be garbage if I don't get it there. And so I keep playing with the values. I keep playing with I don't even know how to do the reflection on the left side of the car. That hasn't sunk in yet. And I have to, I'm moving around the painting now because I'm uncertain about how to make that car look good. But I keep jumping around, and all I'm doing is working around the painting, trying to get the values. So value being, the dark to light. Even though I'm working in all color here, I'm trying to see it as just chunks of value. And I think that's really important. And also you can see I've got a lot of texture going in this painting, but I've used one brush nearly the entire time. I think I airbrushed just a little bit of the sky to kind of soften it. I didn't want all that hardness. And I think I just grabbed some random brush I didn't even know how to use to add a little bit of grit to the sidewalk, just for a little bit of interest. But you can see even with the lawn, the green, I left so much of that orange shine through, and I just, I'm coloring. I haven't zoomed in once to this painting either. And I think that's very important, is that I can see how all the values relate to each other from a distance. It's fine to zoom in later if you need to get the details. Once all the majority of your values are in place and you've seen it all from a distance, because that's the most important part, is how everything relates to each other. And so I just keep working around the painting, just adjusting things. I think the little triangle of light in the right hand house, I think I changed the value of that over and over and over again since the beginning of the painting. I just kept, I never got the value right. I needed to be like a little bit bright, but not, stealing the focus of the whole painting. And again, I keep tweaking things. I'm tweaking the composition, and you'll see that even though everything is on one layer, I have the confidence that I can cut something out, move it over, and then repaint whatever I happen to occlude or whatever needs repainting, because I'm not fragile about this. I don't think that it happened by accident, and it's not a big deal if I have to repaint it. So at this point, you can see that harsh orange lighting that came in. That is a layer on top, and it's the only thing I did. I just hit a little bit of orange on a layer above and set it to, I believe, overlay, just to warm up the painting a smidge. And most of the time I leave it off until the very, very, very end, because I don't want to paint underneath that and my color picking be wrong. So here I'm just making some more compositional adjustments. I raised the sky because I thought it was too close, and just making some finicky little changes. But what I'm trying to say is, if you can paint traditionally in a very very traditional way, where you're not thinking about all the tools, just everyone's going to have a different mentality on how to digital paint. Everyone's going to have a fancy new tool, and it's really less important about what tool you use and more about how you can paint. So I challenge you to take one brush that you have in whatever program you're using and paint a hole a whole painting that way and see if you can pull out some texture in that painting. So that's about it. That's the way I digital paint when I'm using a reference photo. Leave a comment below if you think any of this was helpful. Let me know if there's anything you want to know in particular and possibly add into a future video. Cheers!